Hi there, everyone, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. If you're one of my regular viewers, you know this is part of a double shot. We are looking at Falling with Glory Aftermath. This is the follow up CD to Falling with Glory, The Cities Will Fall. I like this album better. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. Now, much like the last album, there aren't a lot of songs on the album. You've got one, two, three, four, five, six. And one of them is actually a repeat from the previous album, but I'll get into that. This album, with the 6 tracks that are on here, 3 could easily have been radio singles, honestly. Could still be. If there is anybody out there that can honestly have the clout to get their hands on the recordings for these, mix them together into one album, remove maybe one song if necessary, get it out there, get it on the radio, and get this band back out there again, that would be really kind of cool. Because this album opens up with a great song right off the bat. The song Beauty is Dead is honestly a great opener. Starts this album off perfectly. And it gets really going right out of the bat, man. Beauty is dead. Beauty is dead. And just great hooks, great song. Anybody can get into it. It's got great chantability. It's a wonderful, perfect kind of song to just fire it up and get it going. Even for playing live shows, it'd be perfect that way too. Then the next track is, now the way this is done, I'm not sure if it's Standing Tall Aftermath or if it's Aftermath Don't Whisper, but I think it's Standing Tall Aftermath. And it's a good song. It's a good next track. I don't want to say that it's a good track for this album. Now, when listening to the 2 albums from this band back to back, it's a good album cut. You know, it's not a great. It's not like it's not a single. Okay, it's not quite on the same level to me as like say Beauty is Dead is, but it's a good album cut, and as the theoretical title track of the album, you know, it works. Don't Whisper. I really enjoy this track. Yet again, it's another good, strong track. I'm going to take this moment here to stop and say, now, with the first album, my biggest complaint with the first album was the vocalist. And it's just, I don't particularly care for that sound of vocals. The vocals have definitely changed on here. Now, it is the same dudes, you know, based on what I can tell here from the pictures. Now, in the one, they're drawings. In the original one, they're drawings. This one, they're actual pictures, but the names match. I think. Pretty sure. Clint's vocals, and Clint's the name of the vocalist. Clint's vocals are, I find, more enjoyable on this album. He's a little bit older. Age has kicked into his voice a little bit, so he's not as high, so the nasal isn't as bad, and it's a lot more enjoyable. The musicianship in general, you got Mike, DTB, and Chris. Okay, Mike's on guitars. I worked with Mike. That's how I know about this band, and Mike was a great guy too. DTB is bass and vocals, and then you got Chris on drums. The musicianship is incredibly solid the whole way through. Even the tracks that I call album tracks, I'm not going to, when I say album tracks in this case, or album cuts in this case, I don't mean it in my usual, yeah, they're songs that are there kind of way. They're still very solid songs to listen to musically. Like, they're very good. The vocals aren't bad either. I'm always a music guy. If you're one of my regular viewers, you know I'm a music guy. Don't Whisper. Once again, we're back to good track. You know, solid album track. Who We Are. I think Who We Are. I think Who We Are could have been a single. Honestly. Salvation is another one. Actually, okay, maybe there could have been 4 singles off here. Salvation, I think, really had the potential for single capabilities as well. And then the album finishes off with Restless. Okay, so Restless is the same track as on here. It's Restless Nights. It's a different version of it, though. That musically, it's been redone musically. It really is a different reconfiguration of it. It's... The first thing that comes to my mind is when Megadeth redid A Tout Le Monde. And that's not an accurate comparison because this is... I really enjoyed Restless Nights on this album. Restless on this album is actually I believe, the more superior version. And Restless would have been a brilliant single. The whole way around, this album is definitely growth and improvement from the first album. And it's a real shame. I talked about this a lot in the previous review. If you didn't watch the previous review, I should have said this at the beginning. If you didn't watch the previous review, go back, watch the previous review, because I give a lot more details, regional and stuff like that, as to what happened with Falling with Glory. And why regions and where you play and stuff like that really suck. I actually go to a lot of detail about that with the Falling with Glory video. The first one for, The Cities Will Fall. Really, if there is anybody out there that is paying attention and listening, first off, this band really needs to be revisited. They really do. I really would love to see... If you took Intro and Restless Nights off of The Cities Will Fall, and you included this entire album on there, I think that might be the right time to fit onto one album. Or even release it as a double album set. I don't care. Get this out there. This is... I think their timing was off. I think they missed the mark because of when they came out. But these guys are really good, and I really think that they have potential, especially with a lot of stuff that I'm still hearing on Detroit radio. You know, a lot of stuff I'm hearing on other, like, Canadian radio stations even. Give them a shot. You really got to check it out. And musically, more grown up. There's a little more electronic feel in this one. I find it interesting that it doesn't say anything in here about keyboards, so I wonder if it's electronic triggers I'm hearing in the drums, possibly, that they've got going on or whatnot. But there's definitely an electronic element in there. Maybe it's some effects with a guitar, they're doing some extra stuff. I'm not 100% sure. But they are a really good band, really solid. Rock, metal... There's a little bit of mix of everything in here. Rock, metal, a little bit of electronic edge to it, but it's a good electronic edge, not a bad electronic edge. It doesn't go full on industrial in any way. It's just enough of an electronic edge. The best comparison I keep going to, unfortunately, is Rammstein for that electronic edge. But even Rammstein tends to use a little bit more of electronic edge than I would say here. I previously mentioned Tea Party in a video. Maybe a little bit of that kind. Nah, that's not right. Because not a comparable band to the Tea Party. Let's be very clear, okay? The Tea Party are the Doors. This is much heavier. Yeah, it's a really good album. Just go check it out, folks. There's stuff from these 2 albums on Google. Go check them out. I enjoy them. I suggest them. Sadly, I don't think you'll be able to find these 2 albums in stores because there's no barcodes. They're not registered. So maybe as an independent they might, but I don't know if you can find stores that sell independent albums like this. If you can find them, get them. They're enjoyable albums, I think. This one here, Falling with Glory, The Aftermath, though, this is really where the top-notch stuff is. I really wish they would have been able to keep going, because I think this was a great second album, and there was definitely real growth, and a third album would have been really good. The downside is I'm looking back on this with, like, I think at this point, like, 10 years retrospective on it. It's been that long, you know? Anyways, folks, those are my thoughts. Those are my opinions. Those are my views. Comment section, that's where your thoughts, opinions, and views go. There is a link below that goes to Patreon. Please check that out. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. Those are cool. Those are important. Otherwise, peace, love, take care.